Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Good evening, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobb here. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather at 6 on what has been a pretty nice day. We expect the heat, though, continuing to build the next few days. So hopefully you're ready for that heading into this weekend, because it is, in a lot of ways, one of the big weather stories. Hey, we welcome you into the Room to Room Weather Center this evening as we're tracking some rain chances that are honestly not going to be substantial until maybe the extended forecast. There are some sprinkles out there, some light showers. We'll look at those in more detail with Mississippi Live Weather Radar here in just a moment. Heat remains the big weather story building. I mean, it was hotter today, but still manageable. That heat becomes, dare I say, more oppressive as we look into the extended forecasts. And again, there are better rain chances next week. But that's next week, and honestly, largely beyond the weekend. This evening, we're at 10% on that coverage of rainfall still at 7 p.m. We are still tracking a few showers out there, 78 by 8, 75 degrees by 1 o'clock in the morning, and then down into the low 70s for the first part of early morning Friday. Yep, that's right, we're back to Friday, and in a lot of ways, it's good for all of your outdoor activities, aside from maybe one or two little showers. But again, not many of those out there. We're in Smithville right now, looking out and about with just mainly some smaller clouds. 95, that feels like heat index. 92, that temperature on what are mainly calm winds around the Monroe County area. Appreciate you tuning in with us there, as well as in Batesville. There, though, it is 95 and feels like 100 degrees as some of the hottest temperatures in place out there in the Delta. And again, appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters for allowing us to use these cameras here, of course, to bring you these views. Going to be much more necessary as we get into the fall and the more active weather pattern. Crenshaw, 100, what it feels like as well there back in northwest Mississippi, and those clouds all fairly flat. Temperatures, again, right now coming in 94 Belzona, it's 92 Grenada, 91 in Amory, and 92 in Tupelo, but 87 in Hamilton. That's rain cooled to 87 degrees. We'll look at that with the radar here in just a moment on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. High temperatures, again, warmest back in the Delta as well. And those heat indices all below the triple-digit point now, though we had a few of those above that earlier on. As you saw just a moment ago, there's still some isolated areas out there in the Delta where that's the case, though it feels like 99 in Amory and 97 degrees at this instant in Tupelo, so it's not like it's particularly cool. Mississippi Live Weather Radar, and again, those showers have been very, very limited. I'm going to put a loop on here. We're going to make it a 1 hour loop, and we're going to zoom in a little bit closer at some of these isolated showers. Down here, Pickens County, a few more of these lightning strikes showing up. We have about 52 lightning strikes over the course of the last 30 minutes or so as this is sliding eastward there, generally toward Columbus and also toward Macon. Gabe, if you'll give me a track on this there, we're going to track this toward the west. That's right, moving from east to west. And the speed on this, I'll say probably only around, I'd say let's go 15 miles an hour, because it's, again, not particularly fast. So Aliceville, we're looking at moving toward you. Ethalsville there about 634. Coalfire about 606. And Aliceville about 622. Again, this is moderate rainfall, some lightning strikes, no severe weather though with this as it kind of works its way from the west, east back toward the west. Even in my brain, it's always hard for me to get that right in this scenario here. Coming in closer in just north of the Columbus area. This is right over top of the Columbus Air Force Base, some moderate rainfall. But again, these are all very small little showers out there. That one only 2 miles wide, moving toward the south and west. Again, that kind of odd direction on the movement of that that one there as well. These storms have kind of popped up a little heavier. They're closer to Solent in the last few minutes. As I step to this side of the screen for a moment, these might actually have some heavier rainfall amounts with that. I'm going to look three-dimensionally onto these for just one moment to kind of get a better look at the overall way in which these are behaving. And you see how we kind of cut into the one there very near the Mississippi-Alabama state line. That eventually could move maybe toward around the Aberdeen area, but you have some of those brighter pinks showing up there. So that's a sign that that one's a little stronger. So even some of those back toward Muscle Shoals are somewhat heavier, but I'd say this one could have maybe one or two smaller hailstones with it there near the Mississippi-Alabama state line. Come two-dimensional on that one and bring it back over here to our radar. One of the things it can do on this is look at the various threats. It does show the potential maybe where we have some of those blues showing up on there. I think kind of like what we assessed a moment ago there. Perhaps 1-inch hail at the worst case scenario on that. But again, I think that's probably more the exception to the rule on this shot here. And then for most of us, there's not many threats out there to be concerned with. We have had, again, some of these showers. Let's look up toward Tishomingo County. It looks a little bit heavier on that latest scan there as well. So let's bring it in and look at that right there, pretty much south of Iuka between that and Tishomingo, pretty close to Tishomingo State Park where that is moving there. That'd be the Natchez Trace Parkway we show right there. So moderate rainfall on that. I think it still is a little stronger aloft. And again, not moving much as rainfall amounts have been pretty insignificant on most of these showers this evening. So as much as I'm tracking those, the majority of us haven't had much and unfortunately are still a little drier than maybe some folks would like. We're looking at Macon there. We've had some showers close by, but again, that's 88 degrees, not much of that rain cool air moving in with that feels like temperature coming in at around 95 at this hour. So the wider shot here, again, showing that high pressure is the story largely around the region. I'm going to steal this from the mouse from you there, Gabe, if I can. So high pressure down there toward the south, and that is keeping conditions dry back out there toward Texas and Oklahoma. So as we look here on Futurecast this evening, some showers near the Alabama state line where we're most likely, but on the wide shot, don't expect any relief from that next front upstream. That's just not coming. And so it is this dividing line between, again, the suppression, the sinking air with high pressure back toward the west, and again, the attempts at rainfall to the east. And while we do have some phantom showers trying to move in, I would not be counting on much meaningful moisture from that overnight. But could we have some sprinkles northwest Mississippi? I think that's a possibility. But starting us mostly dry for your Friday. So again, getting you through the next 24 hours here, we're looking at 72 in the morning, 81 degrees by 9 a.m. We're near 90 at noontime with those very isolated showers. Similar to today, maybe a few more than what we had today, but most of us aren't going to see a lot of meaningful rainfall out of these, which is why we need to be watering the lawn ourselves. Of course, drought monitor expanding in our area, not significantly. That's one of the things we're looking up here in about 60 seconds as we're tracking where those rain chances are going for the next couple of days as Mississippi Live Weather at 6 continues from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
At Absolute Restoration, our team will feel magical since our focus is on serving you and your roofing needs. Finding a roofer who actually shows up and communicates, that's just one of the problems we solve by informing you of every step in the process.
Selling premium roofing systems backed by warranties and payment plans starting at just $99 per month. Trust Absolute Restoration to deliver.
Experience unicorn-level service and affordability from a team your community trusts. Call Absolute Restoration today.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
A perfect evening getting out and about this evening, just with the the hotter temperatures, but at least the drier forecast. That's why it's so picture perfect. Seeing those blue skies on the horizon there in Greenville, 93 feels like 99, so definitely not cooler. I was thinking about the past couple of days. We're on that warming trend and the mugginess trend, that both starting to build over the next couple of days and really into our weekend as well. Oxford getting a great look at those blue skies as well. 91 degrees feels like 93. This is going to be the drier section of our viewing area. if you bump it out east, I mean, we're going to see those pop-up showers really starting to develop. Matt was taking a look at that just a moment ago. And we'll take a look at that one more time as that just continues to cycle into the area. One of the areas that I'm paying attention to are these two outflow boundaries. Pay attention to that one moving into Lamar County from the east side and that one moving directly north-south. As these start to merge over there towards Lamar County, definitely could see a few of those pop-up showers. We've seen it with this interaction of outflow boundaries before. Would not be surprised to see that once more. But that's definitely the most significant shower. That one down there towards Pickens County, a few isolated chances over towards Florence, all the way towards Tishomingo and Iuka. And this one, I mean, that's moving through central part of Lamar County, already bringing with it some electricity with a few of those lightning strikes and then heavy downpours as well. As we look at those in particular, you can see how this one's starting to get away from that outflow boundary. So as that outflow pushes further away, it's not going to have that lifting mechanism for this storm to be too much more long-lived, already starting to break up. So that diminishing in strength. I do say that there are a few that are starting to develop out ahead of that outflow. As the outflow pushes into it, definitely going to see the potential for some more of those showers, maybe even a few storms increase as it moves there towards Noxubee County. That one probably going to be reaching just around Macon, hopefully missing, but remains to be seen. That outflow boundary like we were talking about moving through Soligent as we speak, that's going to be our most significant rainfall, and Russellville getting a decent downpour as well as that starting to move south from Littleville through Russellville right along Highway 43. So that's what we're tracking across North Mississippi, and you might notice a lot of these chances are primarily towards northwest Alabama, so not even in North Mississippi. And that's where they've been all day long. Looking at those rainfall totals, I'm actually just going to stand over here because I'm not blocking anything over here. And some of those rainfall totals are decent for this time of year. We're talking above an inch there towards Tishomingo with that isolated shower, just under an inch as it moves there towards Marion County, and then 1.4 inches towards Pickens, 1.3 inches around Tuscaloosa County. So best chances of rainfall, well, that's going to be primarily if you're northwest Alabama, but a few of us here in North Mississippi getting the benefits of those that rain-cooled air especially. As we take a look at temperatures right now, where it's raining, well, that's going to be the coolest temperatures. 85 Hamilton, 88 Vernon, 89 Columbus, and 89 towards Aliceville. The rest of us, 90s and above, with some areas 93 towards Greenwood, 93 Greenville, and 94 around Senatobia. So it's a toasty one once again today. Some are moving back into the forecast, but heading overnight, those temperatures do start to drop. A big thank you to the sunset happening and giving us those cooler conditions. 86 by 7, 78 around 10, and we're seeing 75 right around midnight and a little bit after. You might notice rain chances not really showing up because we do see a drier forecast moving into that late evening hours. Here you see a lot of those rain chances starting to diminish by 8, 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, again, a lot of those chances primarily towards northwest Alabama. So when we say 10%, that's the area we're watching. But whenever we look at that extended forecast, we might see a few of those pop-up showers right along that Arkansas, Mississippi, right along the Mississippi River, basically. The thing is, model run at 5 o'clock, different than what we're having right here because it's just so I'm going to use the term flip-floppy on the forecast, but basically those showers were originally popping up towards Panola and Lafayette County, now starting to transition more out west towards Arkansas. So it shows you that those chances are not overly high on that because even models, what is this? Not even 12 hours, 6 hours out, 6 to 8 hours out, not even getting it right. So the fact that it's doing that means that, yes, there could be a sprinkler or two, but not overly high on those rain chances for North Mississippi. Tomorrow morning, definitely going to be a dry start to the day, so make sure to get up early and enjoy it. But those forecasted rainfall totals overnight are not going to be overly high. Here's a look. I mean, we're talking hundredths of an inch here, hundredths of an inch there. Main chances back there towards northwest Alabama, so that's what we mean, 10%. It's going to be primarily for folks in northwest Alabama, not here in North Mississippi. Let's keep Futurecast going through our Friday, and we'll see that moisture start to move in regards to humidity from the southeast, and that's why we're getting so much of that warmer, muggier air. Those clouds do start to build just a bit there towards the Golden Triangle, but we're not talking about rain chances by 10 a.m. We're talking about partly cloudy skies. So a complete difference in that forecast. Noontime still staying on the drier side, and overnight and into, not overnight, oh man, I'm off right now, but into the early to mid-afternoon, isolated showers definitely do start to become a bit more possible. Those linger into our late evening on our Friday. So make sure to have that rain gear ready, especially if you're south of 82. Don't expect to use it because it's just not going to be a high likelihood of those showers really being impactful, but nevertheless having decent coverage. And forecasted rainfall for tomorrow, I mean, here's your outlook from the Weather Prediction Center, basically not showing a drop across North Mississippi. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think we do get 1 or 2 of those pop-up showers, but really, I mean, this is going to be a mostly dry forecast for our Friday. Now, let's take Friday into the overnight hours, and we'll see the clouds start to just linger around, but not produce any rainfall with it. 10 p.m., still seeing mostly clear skies, and those do continue with our forecast into our Saturday morning. Saturday morning, I know you don't want to wake up early, teachers, but it might be worth it to see the beautiful sunrise we'll have and all that sunshine in the air. So get outside, enjoy it. And one thing I will say with this model that right here is very aggressive on our rain chances, so take it with a grain of salt whenever you see all these greens popping up. We're not expecting this uniform distribution, but what we are seeing is those chances, the isolated chances of a shower or 2 popping up. Still very little in those chances, so we're not overly high on those rain chances going forward, but beyond Saturday, it definitely starts to transition into more of a wet forecast. And you already see it building in from the southeast. We'll see those rain chances wrap around into North Mississippi, and we'll get more of those rain chances. So Saturday forecasted rainfall, still about 1/100 of an inch popping up here and there. Not going to be widespread rain chances, but just enough to have 1 or 2 of those brief heavy downpours. Now moving into the forecast beyond Sunday into Monday. Here's your outlook, and it looks completely different because that's our highest rain chances this week. We're talking 1/10 of an inch for a good portion of North Mississippi, all the way up to 1/4 of an inch. What this tells me, because we're still going to be isolated in nature, the Weather Prediction Center basically smooths out those totals to cover the entire area of North Mississippi. So we're not expecting everyone to get a drop of rain on Sunday and Monday, but we are expecting decent rain chances with more of those widespread coverages. So not covering the whole area, but definitely going to get higher chances. So some of those downpours could come into about 1 inch total. So it is going to be a brief heavy downpour for some. And rain chances do continue in that same rate for your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and by Wednesday. Still pretty isolated in fashion, but more coverage than what we'll have tomorrow or Saturday. Something to look forward to, because if you're like the Manor House, you're definitely in need of rainfall. And latest look at the drought monitor, you might notice that not too much has changed. And Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon and I were talking about this behind the scenes, how a reason why that is because the oppressive heat that we typically have this time of year did not happen earlier this week. So it didn't dry things out as much as it usually does this time of year. But if the heat remains what it is, and our rainfall chances diminish into next week, well, then we could be looking at a much worse situation. But as of right now, that level 1 drought monitor for Yalobusha, parts of Lafayette, Panola, and all the way out there towards Clarksdale, just reaching towards the Mississippi River. Greenville also showing up with that level 1 drought, and northern Franklin County there in Alabama showing up the level 1 drought. So kind of just dispersed all across North Mississippi and northwest Alabama, but do expect those conditions to worsen if rain chances don't pick up going forward. So that's just what we expect this time of year. It is a much drier forecast. And latest look at the drought monitor, a few areas already at a level 2 drought there in southwest Alabama, and that's definitely a sight, because you typically think there'd be more moisture coming in from the Gulf, but a drier section there towards southwest Alabama. Birmingham coming in with a bit of a drought monitor, and then just spread all across the southeast. With how dry things have been, this is no surprise, and honestly, I'm surprised that it wasn't included with a bit more. So that could be happening next week. Hopefully not, and hopefully these rain chances start to kick in a bit more than what models are projecting right now, because we need even more rainfall than that. Temperature-wise, though, with the rainfall, we're still climbing. We're talking 93, 94 degrees for your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and even towards midweek next week. Heat indices is going to be back into the triple digits with some feels-like values at that heat advisory threshold. We're definitely watching that heading into the weekend, but we'll talk more about what to expect for that weekend forecast, where those decent rain chances are going to pop up. We'll basically be analyzing the entire United States here coming up in 60 seconds, so make sure to keep it here for the very latest. We'll see you back here in just a minute.
Here is your opportunity to add 2 beautiful guns to your collection and support scouting. Scan the QR code to purchase your chance to win a Browning Citori 725 Sporting Maple over and under 12 gauge shotgun, or a 75th anniversary Boy Scout commemorative Winchester Model 9422 rifle. Support the Natchez Trace Council Scouts with your raffle entries today.
As a nurse, I've seen a lot of people with sleep deprivation. It affects their job, their home life. At Room to Room, we want to take the guesswork out of buying a mattress, and that's why we brought in this technology. It shows you what you need. We want to do the assessment and find exactly what's perfect for you.
Thank you so much for keeping it here at Mississippi Live Weather. What we're going to do right now is basically assess the entire United States and how that flow is happening that's causing us to have such little rainfall and such a dominating heat system. This is what we're having right now, and our primary threat for rainfall and decent chances of severe weather is out there towards the Dakotas, North Dakota encompassed in that level 3 risk today. That does continue into our Friday as well, but we're fortunate we're not getting severe weather. But basically the reason why you're getting this is because you have this upper level system that's starting to develop there on the west side of Canada. Now, as that starts to sweep in, follow that jet stream, it'll start to have what we call a negatively tilted trough. And you might heard us mention trough and ridge a lot here recently. Ridge is associated with that drier weather. Trough is whenever we get those lows that are start moving through. Well, all of that's happening now up there towards the Dakotas and Montana. So as you get that following the jet and moving into the Dakotas, it'll start to become negatively tilted, which then produces the chance at severe weather. So that's why severe weather is primarily up there. But when it comes to our moisture down here, it's a bit of a different story. And one of these that we're having here, and I'll bring in our Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon for a bit of an assessment, is you have an upper level low, not happening down at the surface. So your surface analysis was showing a dominant high pressure system.
Absolutely.
So the low that's interacting aloft, that's what's bringing in a lot of that moisture and a lot of those isolated rain chances.
Yeah, and it's one of those things in spring and in winter, it's very clear cut. It's like, oh, there's a low. This time of year, you get things, it's all very marginal. That's why you just get these little showers that if we didn't have the heating go along with it, we wouldn't have it all. Go back one graphic for a second.
Okay.
You mentioned a term there, negatively tilted low. And that is kind of a mathematical term, but it's a very important thing when we start talking about severe weather, right?
Exactly.
You know, and it has to do with the angle. Do you kind of talk about the angle on that?
Well, I was going to talk more about it whenever we go into Friday, because we actually have this graphic, the same one. Let me jump this one and go into Friday, and you can kind of see it a bit better.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, whenever it starts to become really negatively tilted, that's basically the system has matured completely, and then we're starting to get the highest output of that, and that's where you get the best chances of severe weather.
Exactly, and so it just tends to generate a lot of downstream ripples, and so yeah, as you mentioned, that's where you get the strongest and severe thunderstorms. But again, where the jet stream is where you have that missing component that thankfully we don't see very often this time of year.
Yeah, it's like people want rainfall, people want the spring rainfall. Well, it comes at a cost, guys.
It does.
And so fortunately, we're not seeing severe weather. It's just going to be those isolated chances. And those isolated chances, you can see those brief, I'm going to call them brief lows, because they develop so quickly and dissolve just like that. So that's where we're getting those chances of moisture, and one of those developing out in the Gulf on our Friday that might circulate in a few of those isolated showers, not overly high.
Exactly. Again, that's why down toward the coast, if for whatever reason you're lucky enough to not be in school nonstop at this point, you're heading down to the coast. I know, hey, listen, people of various ages, your rain chances there do continue. They've been kind of soggy lately, and that is something with this pattern that continues until we get a wholesale change, which even with the rain chances next week, I wouldn't say is the case.
Yeah, rain chances next week are this forecast. We're fingers crossed.
Well, maybe a little better than that, but.
Well, and I do want to walk you through. So, fun fact about, it's been a soggy forecast down on the coast. That level 2 drought monitor is showing up for parts of southwest Alabama, which took me a little bit by surprise because it's been so soggy down there.
But again, it's relative to your area. And that's the thing, like you can have as much rainfall we have had, and you're removed from a drought for locations in Texas that don't see hardly any rainfall, and then you can have just tons of rainfall, and it's not enough for a place that typically sees a lot of rainfall because it's compared to your specific normal, right?
Exactly.
It's kind of like your ideal body weight and my ideal body weight are two completely different things because we have different frames. And it's the same thing when we think of precipitation as well.
That's a good way to put it. No, we'll both be in the gym. We'll both get the same size. We have both the same goals.
Bulk season still ahead, right?
Exactly. Hey, winter's bulk, so we're still in cut season for a little bit longer.
One of these days I'll be in doing something season. Okay, so what else we got?
Well, beyond this, it's just basically walking through those rain chances, and you can kind of see the dominant high pressure out there out west. That's going to keep us with the heat. That's going to keep us with the dry weather. Rain chance wise, though, you're seeing on the scale up here above my head, we're on the lower side of that with a few pop-up showers. Yeah, a lot of those higher rain chances, those darker greens actually showing up there towards Montana and North Dakota. So it does come at an advantage for some because you get rainfall, but a disadvantage with that severe weather. You see that low starting to become a bit more pronounced, a bit more of that, I would say that's neutral to shifting to negative by that point.
Exactly, and that comes down to the angle, right? A negative is going to be where it's kind of upper left to lower right, this sort of angle as it comes in. It's a mathematical term. That's how, believe it or not. And
we have to do math.
Well, and yeah, exactly. And so because again, this is a negative slope, right? It's if you're starting on this side, something is going downhill. It's going negative elevation.
Exactly. And so that's why you get those chances of inclement weather. And again, our thoughts and prayers are going to be with those in the Dakotas. But we're definitely grateful down here to not have any inclement weather. And heat-wise, we have that dominant high pressure. That's where the heat kind of remains, and you get a little bit of that high pressure extending out there towards, Kentucky, Tennessee, and even out here towards Mississippi.
And yet this is just a mess of like this dip and everything. So that's why we can't rule out rain chances, but we're definitely not ruling them in at this point.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise us if it's dry. It wouldn't surprise us if some moisture tries to linger in there, and that just kind of continues over the next 3 days. That high trying to shift a bit more out there towards eastern Texas, and that could bring us a few of those drier conditions. But I mean, overnight tonight, you can kind of see on the forecast, dry, it's going to be hot. But luckily, sunset happens and we cool off.
Yeah, and when that sunset happens, please send in those weather photographs. We appreciate that. There aren't as many clouds as, it's one of those things, people don't think about sending in sunsets as often when it's mostly clear skies. But send them in this evening because, again, we don't do shout outs, but we do show weather pictures.
Well, weather watchers are part of our team.
They are,
We're just
absolutely.
showcasing the parts of our team.
So if you would like to send in those pictures, best way to do that, of course, using the Mississippi Live Weather app. Hey, we know that you guys have been so incredible on helping us with downloads, and you're going to be kind of the front lines in helping us with maybe your parents or grandparents or friends as we get closer to severe weather season, making sure they have this available so they can get the same alerts that we know that you guys love each and every day. Available again for iOS and Android, and there in the app, that's where you send in those weather photographs.
And it's free.
And it's free. So we will be live and free again tonight at 10 o'clock once again for Mississippi Live Weather at 10. We hope you'll join us there, and anytime, of course, at msliveweather.com. We'll see you then.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.